so severe.
I think I learned to kind of free myself from censoring myself. I mean, if you're writing a memoir, is a very personal thing, and I knew I didn't want to say those things of how it got to become important, which is how I call them African memoirs generally tend to be. And then they were like, I was the top of my class, and then I was an angel, and then I married my wife X, and then my wife X, who is the silent partner behind everything and never visible, you know, that sort of thing. So writing it in a certain sense and writing it in a present tense, I had to be in each scene, and I had to think about how, not so much how do I want to portray, how do I want people to see me, but how am I being honest enough to see myself? You know what I mean? That was a big one. So that was in a certain sense a lesson. And then those things you fear, somehow you don't fear them when you're being truthful. When I got home, and then I felt broke very quickly. I had like a business partner from South Africa in 2000. I had like a business partner who escaped with my restaurant and my money while I was here at my mother's funeral. You know, people. So I just landed, and then, you know, that's not even in the book, but it was just like, so I'm there, no money, credit in the kiosk for cigarettes, that sort of thing, at my dad's house, over 30, thinking, damn. But I'll say, at some point I was like, what do I need? I think that when you to stop yourself from being desperate, I think that every human being has to have a vocation. Not a job, not so much a career, but a vocation. The thing in which you're like, you know, if I stripped it all down, yeah, sukuma wiki is cheap, ugali is cheap. It's not that life is going to be great, but at a certain stripped down place, if I have that thing that I do that's my vocation, I'm fine. And so I think in a way that's been the savior. Thank God my vocation was writing and not, say, Pentecostal Christianism, where then therefore I would be going to remove demons and spending 18 hours a day praying, which is what people do when they don't have a vocation. I believe that to be true. So I see writing then as a vocation. It's there with or without. I'd say until recently I thought my taste in music was eclectic, but I have a 15-year-old nephew and a 14-year-old nephew. It is not a thing I can play for them that will impress them, because they're into that music where people sound like computers.
Dubstep.
Is that dubstep? Yeah. It's like Rihanna. Me now, I don't mind Rihanna. It's just me, I'm just like, but why would I want to go listen to a computer singing? See, you sing. So that's the one thing I can't yet digest. Now, I've been going to, so now I'm being taken to clubs by younger friends in town where they play that music all the time. So I'm like, okay, I can dance to it. And then it's like a mosquito in the morning, but it's not nice. I mean, I like all kinds of stuff. I like jazz. I like R&B. I like that kind of dirty soul of the 70s, Kina Millie Jackson. Because I think all these R&B musicians these days, they behave too well. I don't mean taking drugs or that sort of thing. They're just too clean cut. They just look like they were pigwad passy, they were ironed to get on the page. Now Millie Jackson, that was some real shit, you know. It was so that I like a lot. I like those pop from the 80s. I think I still enjoy. Then I guess a mixture of Afrobeat. I found to my surprise that I'm started enjoying rumba, especially old rumba. I like all kinds of West African music. I like South African pop a lot, from the old stuff, Kina Brenda, to the new, whoever's new and interesting. I've always found the vibe interesting. In this particular book, more than any other thing I wrote, in fact, I'm not even the one who generally listen to music, but I was listening to music a lot because I wanted to. There are people who tell you, for example, like I read one of those manuals of how to write well, that you never describe a dream in fiction. or not describe your dreams in fiction, because dreams, no one shares your dreams. So that when you tell someone, oh, the thing was chasing after me and I was so terrified, it's not that someone else doesn't share your terror. There seems to be the same rule about music, that somehow people are like, see, let the song be the one that describes its own feelings. But I wanted to kind of get a sound of what music was like to a young child and a growing child, and what the rhythms of it were in English. So I like the idea of using sound, because I think, for example, a lot of African music is not only percussive. When it's sung, it's if sung to a beat, it's not sung to an accent, it's sung to an intonation. So the sound of the saxophone or everything else sounds like us. So it's an interesting thing, because when you want to kind of recolonize language like English, you can make it sound like us through listening to our music. You know what I mean? So for me, it's exciting how you can work on the page. Oh, there was one, oh yeah, there was this guy who was like, somebody got in touch with me to say that they had a pet cheetah and it wasn't them, it can't have been them I was writing about, because, I mean, what's wrong with having a pet cheetah? I didn't even know who this person was, but they were like, they felt like I had found out that they themselves had a pet cheetah, and then somehow then it was them that I was basing the thing on. I also got a letter from someone very important here in Kenya who told me, what's wrong with running a conservation area? What's wrong with running a conservation area? I run one and I pay my servants well. I pay everybody well. So now I was like, but hey man, if it's wounding you, why is it wounding you? So there are many. It cost many. I think someone at, I don't know if it was Save the Children or Oxfam, called me to say, you want me to come and do a workshop on sensitization to them, and I was just like, you don't even get the satire of like, I'm just saying what you people are up to or you messed up, and then now you want me to come do a workshop. So and then it's also that thing of like, that's like, it's like an underground bribe. Maybe like maybe you won't be coming to say something again, because that's another one. It's like people call you because they want you to, before you can go and say something critical about them, they want to offer you something. That one I get a lot. That's a great story actually, because I had gone for this TED conference in Arusha where Bono was coming, and someone had called me from his office, wherever that is, which I don't know, to say Bono has a present for you. So I'm like, oh. Then I got a poetry book. Then they kept calling and saying, Bono might call you today, or Bono might come tomorrow, those sorts of things. So then eventually he left the conference because he said something about Africa. Then like this journalist called Andrew Mendo got upset. So Bono went to Davos. So I never met Bono. So now I got called by this campaign that they do called Red Campaign. And they said that the guy who's called Jesse Dillon, he's Bob Dylan's son, I think. And he's the guy who there's a very famous Obama video, the Yes We Can, the original Yes We Can video. And so he was like, this Red Campaign was doing different kinds of videos like that. And they had asked 2 celebs to do how to write about Africa. Would I give them how to write about Africa for free for their charity? So after a while, I was just like, should I ask them for money? Because those charities they do, I'm not so much into that Bono will save Africa thing. So, but I was like, if the thing's going to get airplane, it's going to be an African celeb doing it. Hey, why not? So I said yes. At the time, the choice was between, what's the guy of Hotel Rwanda? You know what I'm talking about? Don Cheadle. And then Jimon. I mean, I was like, Jimon. Because Jimon will just get me like 3 million hot chick fans. So I said, yeah. But the day they were shooting, they called because you need to know how to pronounce different things. And then he said, Mr. Binyavanga, I want to tell you that from me now, it's important for me, even when I do new contract, I've read this and I say, this new contract, I will say it must reflect like this. So Africa is not done badly. He said something like that. And of course, me was excited. Yeah. But that was before tweeting, so I couldn't tell anyone. I have 2 nephews who are very dear to me, and so yes and no. I think only in the sense that as a parent, you don't want your child to live feeling they're chasing your shadow. I'm not those things of like, my child is or my nephew is an extension of me, and therefore, if I'm a lawyer, he shall become a lawyer. You know, those things, no. So let them find their way. If they want, and they really want it, give me a call and see what we can do. So I don't have any such fantasies. Yeah, I think people's dreams should be with them, not...